Welcome. I hope that you are doing well and you are keeping warm wherever you are in the world. It's pretty cold here in New Zealand, and I've got my Audi on, which is an absolute lifesaver thanks to my beautiful cousin who bought it for me a couple of years ago. Yeah, and if you are somewhere where it's sunny, make the most of it. Send us some warmth, please. Anyway, I wanted to come on to pass on this information, okay, because yesterday I was sitting down and I was meditating and I had this guy come through, and I know it's for somebody out there, but I don't know who. So I'm asking you to please share this video, especially if it's not for you, because I know the power of the internet. This has to find someone, and I'm not sure why, or I'm just the messenger. This is purely to get the message to whoever it is that it belongs to. So let's use the power of the internet to find that person. So I've got a lot of information to get through here, so bear with me. He gave me a lot of details, which honestly mean nothing to me, and I've kind of been going, I don't even know if this is going to, mean anything to anybody, but I guess for them, if it's for them, they're just going to go, yep, and know that, that they can relate to that. So, yeah, let's get started. So, I saw a man who is in his 30s, okay, and he was standing on the platform of a railway station, facing, like, in the middle of the railway station is some sort of building, and he was facing the wall of the building and he's looking at something. So there's a window, or maybe it's more like a cabinet, a glass cabinet where they put, say, posters in and information and stuff like that, right? So he's standing there looking at that, and I have a feeling that he may very well be looking at the timetable for the trains. So he is wearing a brown trench, well, it's not a trench coat actually, because it doesn't go down to his ankles, it goes down to the middle of his thighs, but it's a long coat to the middle of his thighs. I want to say sort of a medium brown. He has a brown briefcase, leather, and back in this time, which I'll get to a bit later on, there was either hard briefcases or soft briefcases, right? And this is a hard one, so it's a rectangular shape, and the handle was a chocolate brown, so it was darker than the actual briefcase itself. There's some metal bits on the briefcase. I'm not sure if they're on the corners actually, and the things that you clip to open the briefcase, those are metal as well. Definitely a lockable briefcase for sure, no doubt about that. He's wearing a bowler hat, and he's got a brown hat on in the image that I first saw him, and like, you have the rim of the bowler hat, right? But then you have the bowl of the hat, and around the base of that bowl of the hat was a black, what would you call it? I want to call it a ribbon, but it was a band. It was a band. And he also had a brown bowler hat. So that was a brown bowler hat. He has a black bowler hat with a black band around it as well. So the brown one had a black band. Did I say that? I'm not sure, but anyway, that had a black band. So he's there waiting for the train. He's showing me, hang on a minute. This is interesting because I thought all the information had come through, but he's showing me now the train arriving, and it's a steam train with the coal, and I can hear that sound that they made. Anyway, okay, So he's standing on this platform. He's also smoking a cigar, so he's a cigar smoker. It seems that later on in life he went to the pipe, but more a cigar smoker. And it's like he held the cigar like this, right? So he would have it like that. He didn't hold it like that, right? He held it like this, yeah? And when he would take a puff on it, he'd kind of squint his eyes because all the smoke would go in his eyes. And I don't know if he particularly enjoyed smoking cigars, but he did, because that's what everyone did, especially with the circles that he mixed with, well, at least some of the circles, which I will get to. He's a very interesting character, I must say. Okay, so yes, we've talked about the cigar, the hat. Yep. Okay, so he just looks like a regular businessman, going about his day, catching the train to work, home again, like he's just doing his thing right. But he actually partakes in secret meetings. Okay, so he meets with, so what I'm seeing is a scene where he meets with 4 older gentlemen. So in this scene that he's showing me, he's in his 30s, somewhere in his 30s, but these other dudes are older, so they're grey hair, maybe 50s, 60s, so older than him, maybe even late 40s, possibly. So they're meeting with him, and he opens up his suitcase, okay, and they're all leaning over the suitcase to see what's in it. And it's kind of like, the vision I get is, you know how you, you see on programs and that, like someone opens a box or something and then this beaming light comes out of it. It's like that. So there's something very valuable in the suitcase, whether it's money. I do feel like there could be money in it, but it could also be gold, but it's very valuable, whatever is in there. Okay, and it's not just always money. This is the thing. I don't think it's drugs, like I don't think it's a substance of something. It's definitely some sort of currency anyway, right? Could even be silver. Copper maybe, I'm not sure if back in the day that was really a thing, like copper, but yeah. Anyway, okay, let me move on here. So yeah, I feel like, so he doesn't work with anybody else. He works on his own with these meetings. So he goes and meets people, but there's no like, it's not like him and another guy goes and meets people or works out these deals. He does it on his own with these people, but he's not, he's really confident about it. He doesn't have any fear. He's not anxious about it. He has no fear for his life, anything along those lines. He's not scared of these people that he's meeting with. He's going in like, oh yep, I've got this, here you go, like this is what it is, and they do whatever it is they do. He never shows me what they do with that. I don't know what these meetings are really about. I'm just showing that they're looking in a suitcase, looking at something very valuable. Okay. If you were to ask his wife about what he does, she will say to you he's an insurance broker. He works in insurance. So to your regular Joe Blogs, they look in his case and they see a pen, a pad, pencil, rubber, they see policy documents and different information, right? But in this briefcase, there's a secret compartment, and so he can open that, and in there is where he has whatever it is that he's showing to these people. And there's different groups of people. It's not the same people all the time, but they do this regularly. It's not a one-off. it's a regular meeting that they have. Where am I up to? Secret compartment. Yep. Okay, so he did show me money, like I said before, and the money. Okay, so let me describe this fully. So the background of the money is white, and then the print of the money is green, and it doesn't matter the amount on the money of what the the dollar value is, which actually feels wrong to say. It wasn't dollars. I'm hearing euros potentially, or pounds. Anyway, I don't want to get stuck on that. But yeah, it's green. So like in New Zealand, we have like different coloured notes, right? Like our $20 note is all green. Our $50 note is pink, or purpley pink, and our $10 note is blue. So it's not different colours in that regard. Okay. The time period that he's given me is that initially I got the 60s, but then it rewound back to the 40s, 30s, 20s. And it even went as far back as the late 1800s. But I actually see him as a young boy then, so he may have been born 1880s, 1890s potentially. Yeah. So with the briefcase initially, when he was first doing these secret meetings, he never carried any weapons. But later on in the game, he began to carry a gun. And that was hidden in the secret compartment. I'm just like asking how, like if he's going and having these secret meetings with these guys, how, like you're not going to hold the gun. Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, you're not going to exactly have the gun inside the compartment when you open it up and they see the gun, like they're going to freak. But no, what he would do is before he walked in, he would have it in his coat, on the inside of his coat. And I'm just wondering what caused him to begin to carry a gun. And it was the times because of like things were getting a lot more violent and people were becoming a bit more aware. So it was just more a security measure than anything. He never had to use it. He never had a gun pulled on him, but it was just a security measure. But no one, like when he went home, that gun was in the secret compartment. No one knew there was a gun in there at all. When he's travelling on the train and that, no one knew there was a gun there. Where am I up to? Weapons. Yeah, it was definitely a double life that he had. Like his life with his family would have had no clue that this was the life he lived. It's sort of like, it's kind of like gang mafia kind of get up, right? But it wasn't. I can't put my finger on it. It's kind of like it's so secret that he won't actually let me know what it was exactly. Like he's not coming out with it. But what I do see is, or hear, is the word brothers. I hear the word brothers and then I see the word bros, like bros as in BROS, right? And so as though that's sort of a business, and this could be a business that's a cover-up, not his business, not his insurance at all, but the people that he's dealing with, or some of them, like almost like his main people that he'd go and see, there was some sort of cover up there. I can actually see that on a sign, and it's written like on a, I want to say maybe 40s, 30s, 40s, 1930s, 1940s times, with the calligraphy that is used. It reminds me of those times. Yeah, so it was like he was involved in that business, but he wasn't. He was definitely separated from that. Okay, I want to say, like, I keep coming back to his, what the secrecy about it was, and I feel like maybe it's kind of like the feeling of an undercover cop or a private investigator type thing, but not because he was transporting money or he was taking something of value to them. Maybe, maybe it was information. It could have been information. I wonder if it was to do with the insurance and he was getting information from them and paid for that information from them potentially. I don't know. No, I feel like it was more sinister than that. I don't feel like it was that above board. But it's kind of like, how you hear of people who, like they find out that one of their family members was in the CIA for years and years and they never had the foggiest. It's kind of like that. Like no one had any idea that he did this. And I feel like he actually may have carried this to his grave. It was only the people he was involved with in the business that, like, his family had no clue. Well, at least I think they had no clue, but I'll get to that. He did show me that he has a son and a daughter. And this is really interesting because I said to him, who is older? And he said the son is younger. So the daughter's older, but it's just interesting that he kind of didn't say, well, the daughter's older. So I thought that was really kind of, it just caught me. I was like, interesting. I don't know why he put it like that, but he did. It just stood out. So he showed me the daughter. She was blonde, long, straight hair, very fine hair. And the son had darker hair that was straight. Him and his family, they lived a really quiet, straight life. And it's kind of like it was almost too quiet. Like they would have people over for dinner and stuff like that, but they were super straight. And it was a very, very simple life, except for his underground work life. Yeah. Yeah, he just will not share like what was involved in this business. Like, I'm so curious about it, but he won't, because it actually still goes on today. That type of business still goes on today, that secret work. And I kind of wondered if it was something like the secret society type deal, and maybe it is. But the thing is, he wasn't involved in the camaraderie of that, right? He was on the outside of it. And so I'm kind of thinking, no, it wasn't that, but it's something kind of like that. There's some, yeah, so intriguing. Busting to know what it is all about. And maybe I'll never know. Who knows? Anyway, excuse me. So he passed away in the 60s from the pneumonia. Okay, he showed me that he was just coughing and coughing and coughing, and his, it was put down as his cause of death was the pneumonia. He was a very, very reserved man, but he really did have fun playing with his children. Like, he enjoyed that. And the thing was, like, when he showed me having fun, I'd see them outside playing, and it's kind of like with a hose or a sprinkler type deal. And the kids are running around and they're laughing and he's laughing. But he was never ever in casual clothing. He was always in a suit, or at least like dress pants and a shirt, right? Like back in those days, I think it was kind of like a shirt and dress shorts and long socks up to the knees, or at least maybe that was the 70s, I'm not sure. But, you know, he definitely was always, he was quite the proper man, I would say, or at least gave that impression of being the proper man. And I kind of wonder if that was part of his cover-up. Like he could never ever let his guard down. And even in the way he dressed, and even when he was at home relaxing, never let his guard down, right? Like he's kind of showing me now, which I haven't had prior. So I love that this, it feels like, again, sharing this is bringing more information through from him. But he's showing me in the in the living room, he's showing me him sitting there with his pipe. This is later on in life, with his pipe. He's reading the newspaper, and he's there with his, you know, his shirt and what have you, like, you know, very, very reserved, very business-like. So he showed me the house that he lived in with his family, and the kitchen was yellow and brown. So the walls were yellow, the cabinetry was brown. And I'm tossing up, I'm not too sure whether it was redecorated after he passed away, because it kind of gives me a 70s feel. But so I'm not too sure at what time it was these colours throughout, whether he was still alive or not. But like when he passed away, his wife and kids were totally taken care of. I mean, he worked in insurance, right? Like he actually did work in insurance. That was his proper job. And he just had this other secret type of thing going on, yeah? And so, yeah, so the dining room was also yellow and brown, and I'm talking about a chocolate brown here. And he also shows me, I'm not sure where in the house this is, and I don't know whether it's the curtains in the dining room or whether it's a wall or wallpaper, but they're like really massive big flowers, and they're like the wallpaper is different shades of yellow, different shades of brown and white. I think the curtains had that same pattern, but with some orange in it. Yeah. What else did he show me? Oh, so in the dining room, so you've got, okay, let me start with this first. So you've got, in the dining room, you've got a rectangle table. I do not know why this is also important. This particular room was very important to him. I think it was because maybe this is where the family sat around and shared their dinner, and they also had people over. Anyway, the table was a rectangle shape. So the widest part of the table was the middle, and then it kind of came in and around, right? So it was still rectangle, but the corners of the table were curved, and then it, you know, went wider on the outside and then came back around, kind of like that. It wasn't round, definitely rectangle. You could extend the table, so you could pull it apart and bring the thing up and extend it, which was quite a big deal for those days to be able to do. Like they weren't you know, struggling. They were pretty well to do for the times. Not, I wouldn't say overly rich, but they didn't struggle. I'm not seeing any chairs around the table, and he tells me that's not important. We don't need to see chairs. Okay, sweet as. So anyway, so I see this table. In the middle of the table is a candlestick holder, 3-tier candlestick holder, not 3-tier, 3 candlestick holders. Where did I put my drawing? of it. Okay, you're going to have to excuse my drawing, okay, because I'm not an artist, and but I did have to draw it because for some reason he went into detail with this for me. And so let me just see here that I can see what you're seeing. So this is the candlestick, okay, and so you've got the 1, 2, 3. So they're joined here, but they're also joined down the bottom somewhere, and I'm not sure if they're joined like they are at the top or it's on the base. But if you have a look here, this here is one base, so it's actually shaped like that. That was quite important for him to show me. So even if they're joined at the base, this was still risen here for each candle. So you've got the middle one, which is higher. I don't know if you can see that very well because the lighting's not that flash. But the candles were always white, and when they were placed in the candle holders, they were lit in immediately, so they were never, you know, fresh candles. They were always slightly burned down. And there was wax. There was also wax always coming off the candle holder. It was silver. It was a proper silver, very heavy. Underneath the candle holder was a doily. And the doily, okay, I did attempt to draw it. Please don't laugh, because again, I'm not an artist and it's actually way worse than the candlestick holder. But the doily looked like this. And, you know, bearing in mind that in a perfect world, it's all in line. So this is the middle of the doily, all in line. And it, you know, was this rectangular shape, and then the candles sat in the middle. So these here were circles, crocheted circles, and they look like this closer up, but with the lines closer together. Okay. And then in the middle here, it was all just crocheted, and the candlestick sat on it perfectly. What else? Oh, so he showed me also some cabinetry to the side. So say like if I'm sitting at the table, right? I'm sitting at the table and in front of me here is the windows. Okay, so on my right side, this is the wall for the kitchen, and there's a singular doorway to walk from the kitchen into the dining room. And on my left side is some cabinetry, which I would say comes up to about, like the height of it is about hip height. And this cabinetry is a red wood, very shiny, very polished, no marks on it whatsoever. And there's one section of it which is glass, and you can slide the glass and put, you know, your glassware in there, or whatever you want to put in there. They had glassware in there, so glasses and, you know, decanter. There was a decanter in there, and then there was another section of it which were cupboards that you could open up, and they were locked. Only he had the key for that. No one else saw the key. No one else knew what was in this cupboard, and he is not alluding to that whatsoever. He's just like, but this, for some reason, this cabinet is really important, and he pointed it out to me, like the candle holder and the cabinet. And I feel like maybe it's because these are very identifying items that someone's going to go, oh, this is totally, like, this is us. Oh, the candlestick holder, this was from the 17 or 1800s, and it was a family heirloom as well. Okay, so that was very important. What else? Cabinets, yes. Oh, yes. And he gave me the names Harry and Henrietta. Now, I'm not sure if it was his name and his wife's name, or whether it was his children's names. Didn't say. When I asked, he just goes tight-lipped. He won't say. But those two names he gave me. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that is pretty much it. So like I say, please share this video. If there might be someone that you know that this will resonate with, especially with the description of the money, that'll be really good. And we'll see if we can find who this belongs to. Okay, I'm going to leave that with you. Thank you so much for your time and take care of your beautiful self. See you. Bye-bye.